Well, this morning we are taking an in-depth look at Queen Elizabeth II from a man who has spent 40 years covering the royals. Andrew Morton is inviting readers into the early years of Elizabeth Windsor, a childhood he describes as less Disney and more Brothers Grimm. Morton traces her ascent to the throne at just 25 years old, laying out the life of Britain's longest reigning monarch. And Andrew Morton is joining us again this morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Nice to see you too.
It was great to have you in London as part of our coverage on the passing of the Queen. You mentioned at that time you were working on this book, so it's great to have you here. The book is called The Queen, quite simply. It opens with you sharing about the first time you saw Her Majesty in person. You were just 11 years old, wearing your Scout's uniform. What do you remember from that moment?
Well, it was like seeing creatures from outer space. I was one of the scouts lining the route from that they made in my hometown of Leeds, and it was a foggy day, and there was a light inside the Royal Rolls Royce, and it made them look like they were creatures from outer space. So, and in many respects they were. And my adult meeting with the Queen was more significant. That was on the Royal Yacht Britannia in 1983, and I so enjoyed and loved seeing the Royal Yacht enter the harbour. I wanted to know more about the yacht, and after having a chat with the Queen, who indicated how enthusiastic she was about the yacht, I decided to write a book on it. So the Royal Yacht and the Queen started me on my literary career. I'm sure she'll thank me for it.
She is such an iconic figure, but the little details that you include in this book really humanize this larger-than-life leader. For example, you say she loved jigsaw puzzles, and you have this great anecdote about at Sandringham, the last piece was always left out so that she could be the one to finish the puzzle. And you say Her Majesty had a rubber duck decorated with a crown in her bath. Who gave her that? And what other details were you surprised to learn?
Yeah, guess who? A certain ginger-haired royal prince.
Harry.
Yeah, and she's got the singing Billy Bass on her desk at Balmoral. What I liked about her as well is the sense that she can fade into the background. She doesn't have lots of security, so she's often mistaken just for when she was out walking in Balmoral or Sandringham, just for an ordinary walker. And there are various stories about people saying, "Oh, you look a bit like the Queen," and the Queen saying, "How very reassuring." And I found her down-to-earth nature one of the features of the book.
Andrew, I have to say, this is the second time I've seen your face on the screen because I just finished watching season 5 of The Crown. Of course, there's a portrayal of you in it, and this is when you were working on the book on Princess Diana, the famous book on Princess Diana. You consulted with the writers right down to the details on the wallpaper of The Crown, and you've said seeing this play out on TV left you shaken. Why is that?
Well, obviously, the experience of that time 30 years ago is kind of psychologically in the silt of my life, and so it's kind of settled a lot, and that unsettled it, and it really brought home, certainly Elizabeth Debicki's portrayal of Diana certainly brought home those moments, and her mannerisms, her speech patterns were all very Diana, and it was like seeing a ghost, really. And the way they shot it, as though I was talking to her, then Diana was talking back, had a kind of an intimacy about it, which obviously didn't exist at the time because I asked Diana questions through a third party, but nonetheless, it still was absolutely astonishing.
With your intimate knowledge of Diana and the struggles that she faced, how do you think she would feel watching this breakdown in her son's relationship? It's sort of like a new War of the Waleses, really, between the two brothers.
Well, it is really. I mean, she always said to me she wanted Harry to be a wingman, somebody to support William in what is a very lonely job. She didn't want him to be a hitman, so it remains to be seen whether he takes a few pot shots at his brother. But given the fact that his new memoir is entitled Spare, I think the clue is in the title.
Yeah. With Her Majesty's passing, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex really have lost their biggest supporter inside Buckingham Palace. How do you think King Charles will navigate the challenges in their relationship?
Good question. I mean, I think that the Queen couldn't have been more sympathetic or empathetic with the Sussexes and their desire to raise a family. She said so in her public statements and in her private actions. I think King Charles has a lot on his plate. There'll be a lot of debate about the future of the Commonwealth, about the future of the monarchy in Britain and generally. And I think a sign of possible reconciliation will be the conferring of being the title Princess to Lilibet and Prince to Archie. That may help to reconcile the warring factions. But we'll see. It's going to be a fascinating few months leading up to the coronation.
Absolutely. Andrew Morton, from seeing the royals as an 11-year-old boy in your Scouts uniform to 25 books now on the royals. Great to have you on the show.
Nice to talk to you. Nice to see you again. Bye-bye.
All right, the book, as a reminder, is called The Queen.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.